And so I thought this might be a good video to watch. So let's check it out.
Wild. It's actually happening. Sony is taking. This
Whoops.
is wild.
Okay,
It's
I guess
actually
we're starting
happening.
over.
Sony is taking over Bungie as we speak. This article just dropped saying Sony confirms Bungie is becoming part of PlayStation Studios.
Oh man, I wonder how many employees does Bungie have now? Because are they going to be able to take in a lot of these new people and put them on across all their projects? With them having to basically get rid of Bungie, are people even good enough in from Bungie to work at PlayStation Studios? Wonder how many people are going to get laid off after this.
This independence is getting lighter. Wow. Let's jump it right into this. This is going to be spicy. If you don't know, this has been something we've been talking about for several years now.
Yeah,
Sony.
I've watched this guy a little bit. I used to watch a lot of his Destiny 2 stuff, but I think I mean, I guess this kind of flows in with that, right? But yeah, I guess this is crazy.
Has
Let's see.
confirmed Bungie is slowly being folded into PlayStation Studios 2 years after the $3.6 billion acquisition.
3.6 is a lot of money. They should have made that with Destiny, and then if they would have just went and released the Destiny 3 instead of Marathon, they'd probably be in a lot better spot right now. I feel like them trying to start with Marathon and go the direction that they did, I feel like it was a major nerf for them.
That didn't last very long, right? They said that they would allow Bungie complete independent creative vision for Destiny 2. 2 years later, clearly their independent vision was not very good, so they had to take over. 2 years after Sony acquired Bungie in a $3.6 billion deal, the Destiny 2 developer is slowly losing the independence it was originally promised. The deal, which closed
Man,
in mid 2022, was supposed to let Bungie operate as an independent subsidiary under Sony's umbrella. But after missed revenue targets, internal struggles, and multiple rounds of layoffs, Bungie's role within PlayStation's ecosystem is changing dramatically. Oof.
they're definitely cooked, man. Like they've messed up so long with Destiny 2 slowly losing players. I mean, I really enjoyed Destiny 2, but it was so freaking grindy. You miss one season and you're behind hours of content. So much like you get behind one season and it feels like you're constantly just playing catch up, you know. Everyone that I would play with in strikes and um, just randomly queue up with. They're like, "Oh, did you do this yet? Did you do this? Where's this weapon?" And I'm like, "I don't even know how many weapons there are. What's going on?" Like it was crazy to see how that progressed, and I think that's essentially what made a lot of people fall off from Destiny 2. Is it's so hard to get into now, especially if you haven't been there since like day one. I feel like.
Over the past year and a half, several key departments at Bungie have been moved under Sony. This includes teams handling marketing, publishing, HR,
Holy
legal,
cow!
IT, production, and most recently, strategic partnerships. It's getting deeper.
Damn.
Even Bungie's creative studios and leadership figures like former CTO Luis Villegas have transitioned into senior roles at PlayStation. Will the name
Wow.
Bungie stick around? I wonder. Does the
I
actual
don't
name
think
of the
so.
studio just get full absorbed? Would we see the death of the studio's name itself? Or do they just become Bungie as a subsidiary under Sony?
No, I
Sony
feel like they're most likely gonna try and eliminate the Bungie name completely and just split all those people across everywhere that they can utilize them in the company. To me, I feel like that's what would make the most sense.
now says Bungie is becoming part of PlayStation Studios. Yeah, that's crazy. Can you imagine?
Well, becoming part of PlayStation Studios, though, technically them being bought by PlayStation and then they kept their name Bungie, this would imply to me that they're going to be Bungie no more. There will be no Bungie. It'll be completely erased.
Imagine if the name Bungie was just defunct? The latest update comes straight from Sony itself during the company's Q1 2025 earnings call earlier today. Newly appointed Chief Financial Officer Lin Tao addressed Bungie's status and confirmed that its autonomy is slowly fading. Damn.
Damn.
About the governance of Bungie, at the time of the acquisition, we were offering a very independent environment, so that was one way of thinking, Tao explained. However, oh god, here it comes.
Yeah.
We have gone through structural reform, as we announced last year, so this independence is getting lighter, and Bungie is shifting into a role which is becoming more part of PlayStation Studios, and integration is proceeding. In the long term, you can see this as an ongoing process, so the direction is to become part of PlayStation Studios.
Bungie's
there you have it.
cooked.
That's a quote literally from the chief financial officer themselves, saying that they're just basically being absolved
Wow.
into PlayStation Studios, which really shouldn't come as too much of a surprise. Bungie as a company has been around for a long time, but really all of the OGs, the ones that built this company, the ones that made Halo such a great game, and even Destiny in its first few years, they've all sort of faded away, left for different companies, moved on. And so what you have right now is kind of like a husk of a company. Honestly, we're so many generations removed from some of the best talent. We've got a husk of a husk of a husk of what was once a really great company that made incredible games. I mean, Halo.
Yeah, they made all the Halos. I don't think there's one person at Bungie that's probably still original. I think a lot of those people left after Halo. I feel like after they started Destiny, and I feel like the switch from Destiny 1 to Destiny 2, there was a big drop off in people as well.
Obviously is one of the most iconic FPS games ever. Destiny 1, of course, one of the best games to ever launch.
Man,
And
I
Destiny
miss
2 has had
Destiny
some
1.
incredible moments as well. Don't get me wrong, I'm not hating on the game. I'm still playing the game. It's obviously built off of all its legacy and all of the hype and everything that it did in its first few years, of course.
You got the Gallhorn in the back.
Now it's finally being absolved fully into PlayStation Studios.
That's so
Now
crazy.
we have seen similar instances like this with Concord, which Concord had Firewalk Studios. They completely absolved. Once Concord blew Sony $400 million after that game tanked, Sony just completely absolved the
Bro.
company. They got rid of Firewalk, and then some of those employees, I imagine, work for Sony now, etc. Right?
I can't
Maybe a
believe
similar
so
thing is
many
happening
people.
here. Obviously, Bungie's
Everyone
reputation
hated that
is
game.
much better and much more prestigious than Firewalk Studios. Like they hadn't even produced a big game, right? Bungie's
Yeah.
produced Halo. Bungie produced the original Marathon and Destiny 2. These are some big titles. This gives them a somewhat prestigious name, even though it's become very controversial, especially after the Marathon art theft thing. I wonder if Bungie or
Man.
if PlayStation and Sony.
You believe that live stream that they did where they couldn't show anything on stream, like any gameplay, right after they found out that a bunch of art was stolen? That was insane. That I feel like that live stream shouldn't have even happened. They had so many issues. I remember watching it on Asmon's Twitch stream, and oh my gosh, it was terrible. They shouldn't have even done it, to be honest. Like it, I think it made the situation a lot worse.
Want to try to move away from using the name Bungie and that title onto things. It's going to be a really interesting next couple of years when we see the full acquisition of Sony taking over Bungie here. In simple terms, that means Bungie isn't fully operating on its own anymore. So when they were first acquired, they had complete creative freedom to take the game in any direction they want. Obviously, Bungie's the one that got Destiny 2 to where it was, so I think that Sony initially thought, well, if we give Bungie full freedom to move the game in any direction they want, surely they will find success. But it was like a light switch. As soon as they got acquired, it just went downhill immediately. Like there were some good ups, there's some, the final shape wasn't all bad, but overall it's been pretty bad the last few years. We have seen Bungie really lack any sort of creative ambition and really try to push this game forward in a meaningful way. Bit by bit, the studio is being folded into the larger PlayStation organization, just like Naughty Dog, Santa Monica Studio, or Guerrilla. While no specific timeline was given, Sony clearly sees Bungie as part of its long-term plans for first-party development, especially around live service projects. So there you go. I feel like if Marathon arrives, which is going to be a Bungie title, and if it tanks and gets taken down, I think that is truly the end of the name Bungie itself.
I'm pretty sure Bungie will be completely
it's over for Bungie. And they're just absolved into PlayStation Studios. If Marathon can by some miracle stand on its 2 feet and grow an audience, then maybe Bungie survives. Bungie has had
Maybe.
a rough stretch recently. Reports suggest the studio had around 1,600 employees before its October 2023 and July 2024 layoffs.
Wow.
After two major rounds of cuts and transitions into Sony, it's believed that only about 850 employees remain.
Half? So from October 2023, they went down almost half of the original size, or at least where they were in 2023. That's pretty
They've
crazy.
lost almost 50% of their workforce. In related news, Destiny 2's latest expansion, The Edge of Fate's pre-orders are reportedly down nearly 50% compared to the final
Oh,
shape. This follows a continued drop in player engagement and interest, adding further pressure on Bungie as it works through internal restructuring and full integration into PlayStation Studios.
PlayStation Studios just needs to give them a crap ton of people, and they just need to come up with a killer idea and just put it together really fast and get it out there and maybe bring some people back. Or they just need to get enough people in that they can actually do what the Destiny 2 community was asking for. I To me though, it feels kind of weird because after the final shape, it just doesn't. It seems like the game's done. Like the game was finished. I played that DLC, did the did all the story quests, and it felt like that was pretty much the end. Like there was no real reason to keep playing. And so after that, I don't know. I could see why players would be down just because of that, but also, I mean, they haven't really innovated a whole lot recently either, I don't think. Um, I know they had like the Armor 3.0 update or something, and a lot of people's stuff were getting vaulted. So I don't think people like that at all, and so that probably drives players away too.
So obviously, when it rains, it pours, and Destiny 2, unfortunately, is really struggling in terms of its player population. I do think that some of the
Yeah.
new systems that are added, and you can hate me if you want, but I think that some of the new systems added, there's a kernel of something good there with the portal. It's a little bit half baked. We need some more activities. Now we just need some new activities in there, and obviously with
Yeah.
Bungie having 50% of the
It's been
workforce
the
they had,
same
the stuff
strikes
that they're
for
producing now is
years.
not nearly going to hold up to what we saw with the final shape and everything before that, right? That's going to be considered the golden era of Destiny 2. What do you think about Bungie losing its independence and becoming part of PlayStation Studios? I think that this is a good thing.
Wow.
Bungie has shown time and time again that they do not know how to push Destiny 2 in a direction that's going to make this game launch into the mainstream. I don't know if it's possible.
I don't
Obviously,
think it
Destiny
could
is
go
kind of a
back.
niche game, but I feel like Bungie needs to have a much more ambitious approach. Right now, they seem to be constantly doing this like less is more approach where they just keep giving us less but charging us the same amount. And the Destiny 2 players are kind of scratching their heads like,
Man,
what is going on?
the cost of cosmetics in Destiny 2 is ridiculously high. Like a dungeon key just to unlock like one new dungeon, I think was like $20 or $40 or something. It was it was ridiculous.
What, you really expect us to keep paying the same amount and giving us less? So that's been a big problem. Hopefully, PlayStation Studios can absolve them and give them a much more ambitious vision for this game, and maybe replace some of the C-suite people up there looking at you, Pete, and replace them with people that are much more passionate about getting this game up and running again. Because right now, Destiny 2 is at a low point, and we were meant to be at a
Yeah.
really high point with the launch of Edge of Fate. We are meant to be like, yes, the launch of a new saga, everything is good, life is good, Destiny is great, and it's been lukewarm at best.
Man,
Is this good?
I would probably come back to the game if they had some considerable changes, or if a lot of people are like, bro, this new expansion is great, you gotta check it out, and then maybe I'd re-download it and try it. But I haven't been interested in Destiny for at least 6 months.
For Destiny and future projects like Marathon? Well, only time will tell, because as it stands right now, I would agree that the current Bungie team is not capable of taking Destiny where it needs to go. Will the
Right.
new Sony executives, will the new Sony devs be able to do that? Only time will tell. How would we know? We can't say that
It's gonna be an
new
ongoing
Sony devs are
process.
going to
So
help this game objectively. Like, we don't know that they're better. We assume that they might be able to take the game in a better direction, but we don't know entirely. Only time will tell
yeah, I don't
what
know
will
yet.
happen with Destiny. Let me know what you think about the situation down in the comment section below. Pretty crazy one. Pretty crazy to see the actual Sony takeover happen in real time now, 2 years later after the acquisition. That's right for this
Wow.
one. Make sure to subscribe, smash the like button. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.
Dang. Oh, what do I got this on? There we go. Um, man, how crazy that Destiny's not doing so good with the new update, and then I feel like there's not going to be a Bungie anymore. I think it's just going to be. I don't think it'll exist in the next 5 years. I bet it'll be gone. So, but yeah, thanks for watching the video. Like, comment, and subscribe.